Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey. We have a pretty interesting call for you today. It's all about essentially a lot of the common questions and issues that we see, and we wanted to basically address all the common things that we see, which hopefully solve probably like 90% the major issues or questions that we oftentimes get, especially from newer people that are just kind of starting out, whether they're looking to get ranked fast or whether they're looking for some quick ways to make money or whether they're looking to make stuff as hands-free as possible. So we thought we'd cover all that and also have plenty of time for a Q&A as well. And as always, at the end of the call, we'll give away some cash too. So if you stay towards the end, you'll have a chance to grab some cash. And then next week, we'll have a pretty exciting call for you with some brand new stuff that we'll be showing about, and it will basically be on several ways you can quickly and easily make money with WebFire with very specific examples and details and stuff that you can copy. So pretty cool stuff next week as well, so make sure to attend then. So without further ado, we can get the show on the road. All right, so once again, my name is Brian Kaz, joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey, and we can get this call going. We're a few minutes past the hour right there. So again, this will all be on a lot of the common questions we see and then a Q&A. So Sean, you can flip screens there. And about halfway through this call, I actually have to leave for a dentist appointment. So about halfway through, we'll have Sean basically take over. So no worries right there. But anyway, so this training right here will either, or these trainings, which again are every Wednesday, will either feature myself, Brian Kaz, Sean Casey, both of us at once, or occasionally a featured special guest if we think that their expertise would be of value to our members. Now, Sean, looks like you have to change screens. Now, if you're here or you're registered, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make any of these calls live, the recordings will be in the members area within a day, usually less, oftentimes the same day, under the training tab on the left side under the WebFire Wednesday webinars. Of course, if you attend live, you have more opportunities to ask us questions live and all that stuff right there. So you should use these calls as an opportunity to get even more training, ask strategy type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to be trained on. So as a special note, lots of you, like always oftentimes ask if we could do training on how to rank or reply to leads or stuff like that. And all that stuff has actually been covered on prior calls. Of course, we, touch base on a lot of the key points again and again, over and over again. But, if you want to call like entirely on how to rank or entirely on how to reply to leads, we have a lot of prior trainings that actually cover all that in a ton of detail. So before you ask, make sure to check the prior trainings because we label all those, and we find that like probably 95% of the time, the training that people ask for is already made and there. They just haven't looked yet. So make sure you take the time to check out that because what you're looking for is probably there. Next, we'll move on to the WebFire member rules to success. Number 1, follow the steps in the trainings that we have. There's a lot of people that try stuff, but they don't follow the actual steps of the training, so make sure you do that. Number 2, don't give up, and that means to seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. If you can solve an issue by looking up, essentially in Google, the answer to your question in like 30 seconds, do so. But at the same time, like the first obstacle that you run into, don't just give up because there will always be obstacles, with everything. Number 3, no whining or negative attitudes because again, that's the quickest way to fail. We see that over and over again. Those that have a negative attitude from the start will always find a reason to be down, and that's very hard, to make a business do well or pretty much do anything in life with that kind of attitude. So a few quick announcements. I know we've made a couple of these announcements in the past, but these are all fairly new, and there's still guys that aren't on all our last few calls. We just want to take a minute or two to point out that we have a handful of new tools available in the members area. We have some new tweaks done to the site analysis tools, especially like it will check for a schema and all that. We have a new .edu and .gov tool that was recently added that will help you find .edu and .gov links that you can post on that are relevant to your keyword. We have a schema tool. It's part one of that. That was recently added, and that's a new way to get a lot more exposure on Google and stuff, and also a way to increase your rankings very, very easily. And we turned something that normally would be kind of hard and techy into something that's fairly easy to do now with that tool. We also have some new features in the social poster, including a plugin that will instantly turn your blog posts into social posts. We also have a new Facebook group page that we've had for a while that you can go to if you just go to getwebfire.com/FB group. That will forward you on to the group page that you can join for free. And then if you join that at the end of the call, you'll have a chance to win $100. So make sure, again, you go to getwebfire.com/FB group. And as another quick side note too, we also made a quick update to the rank tracker. So there's a minor thing that if you had basically Amazon rankings that you were checking, occasionally Google would basically change the URL around from what it essentially was. So we actually made a tweak there, so now that won't be an issue. 99% of you weren't tracking Amazon links, but in case you were, we actually fixed that issue right there. And also we have our Atlanta event this weekend, so only in a couple days. So it's coming up pretty quick here. And there's free tickets that you can get if you go to getwebfire.com/event. This is probably, there's a very good chance that this might be our last free event. We've done a handful of paid events in the past and some free ones as well. So it's a good chance that this could be the last free one that we do right here. So if you haven't had the chance to attend a workshop of ours, make sure you do. It's over a weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll cover lots of good stuff like how to rank faster, some easy ways of getting traffic, how to do paid ads, how to increase the value of what you sell, also some live exercises on how to build out funnels so you can actually build out a business plan and a funnel there. I will also do site analysis and give you tons and tons of time of asking questions and getting specific help on your business. So this will be a small kind of hands-on event right there, and you can get your free ticket right there. So make sure to do so. We'll probably shut down that site within a day or two because, again, the event will be this weekend. So now let's move on to our commonly asked questions and our Q&A. So here are some of the common questions that we get, and I have about half a dozen or so that I think either we hear or the support hears a lot. And even though we have some of this covered in our trainings, I wanted to basically do like one call here where we address all the common questions that we see over and over and over again. So we'll solve, again, like 95% the issues or questions that you guys have. And one of those, probably the most popular one that we've heard from is, what is the easiest way to rank? So I want to answer that for you right here. So there's like lots of fancy things that you could do. There's lots of fancy tricks that we teach and all that. But what I find is that in the vast majority of cases, you can rank if you just follow essentially the basics that we lay out. There's tricks and stuff to sometimes do even better. But if you follow the basics, it's kind of like if you're driving to a restaurant that's a couple miles away, you can drive it, you can drive to it in a standard car, and you'll get there in a few minutes or so, and that's all you really need. Now, as long as you follow the basics. Now, if you tweak that car, if you do some fancy stuff, you might be able to shave a little time off that, or get there even faster or in more style. But as long as you follow the basics, like how to drive and all that, you'll get there just fine. And the easiest ways to rank is you want to follow kind of this pattern first. First, you want to do your keyword research. And what I mean by that is you can use the main keyword tool inside of WebFire. Try to identify keywords that not only appear to get some traffic, but that also don't have a lot of competition. So if you have a very wide open keyword. There's lots of good keywords that have literally like zero true competition. You can try to target those keywords, and what you want to do is once you identify some easy ones, the next step is to make sure that the title tag on your web page or the title of your blog post has that keyword somewhere in the title, but at the same time make it an appealing title as well. So if your title is puppy potty training, don't just have a title of puppy potty training. That sounds very, very boring, won't get a ton of clicks. And instead, you could have puppy potty training trick, or cool puppy potty training trick dash 5-minute method. It still contains the exact keyword that you're trying to rank for, but the title is far more appealing, so a lot more people will click through. Even if you're ranked like number 2, 3, 4, or 5 on page 1, you'd still, in a lot of cases, might get more clicks than the number 1 ranked site because you have a much more appealing title. And as you get more clicks, Google tends to rank you higher as well there. So that's step 2, is include the keyword you're trying to target in the title and make it appealing. Step 3 is to write basically the web page, or write the content or the article and whatnot, and use the keyword at least once or twice, but have it flow naturally. And make sure that the content is of value and would make it so the reader wants to actually read it. If you make it look like crap or it contains info that is not useful at all, people will immediately click back, and you'll tend to lose rankings over time even if you obtain them. So if you do those main 3 things, those are the keys. And 9 times out of 10, those can work just fine. Now, if you want to go the extra mile, you can do additional things, like getting some backlinks, which again, we have several tools that can help you get backlinks. So you can start to drive immediate traffic by using the lead finder tools, which will also get you backlinks at the same time. That can give you a boost. You can also use the submit your site tool, which will get Google and those guys checking you out a little faster and ranking you a little faster and such too. You could turn it into a video and post it and optimize it on YouTube, where you have a chance to rank the video not only on YouTube but on Google itself. So you have multiple different paths of trying to rank for the same keyword in that case, and that's, and you can even go the extra mile and use the schema tool and put a schema on the page as well. All that stuff can work great, but that's really all you have to do. Now we have lots of additional tricks in terms of rankings and all that, which we've talked about on prior calls. I mean, we have a couple of calls where the entire calls are just on ranking. But what I find is, in 9 times out of 10, on the easier keywords, if you follow just the basics, you'll rank just fine. And a lot of people are overthinking stuff way, way, way too much, where they're trying to think of all this advanced stuff, and they're forgetting about the basics. So, it's kind of like, trying to decide what kind of sprinkles you should have on a cake to make it the perfect cake, but at the same time, you haven't, baked the cake, you haven't put the frosting on, you haven't done squat, but you're trying to look into like the fancy sprinkles still, which, again, cake's a cake. You can make it maybe a little bit better with the fancy sprinkles, but make sure you have the cake and the frosting first. So we'll move on to the next question. And that is, this is one that we see a lot too, is how do I pick a niche and or product or service? So we get this oftentimes from people that are more new. Now, a lot of you have an existing site, you have an existing product or service that you sell, and that's fine. But we also have a lot of users that oftentimes are new and are looking to start a site, or are looking to start selling a product or a service, or looking to just be an affiliate and start one. And with that, you can basically do a similar thing. The first step in this case is you could use the main keyword tool and just pick like a couple topics that might be of interest to you, and you can oftentimes see some keywords or sub-niches or topics that are wide open competition-wise, that you can turn again into a blog post or even a website or blog or anything like that. Now, in terms of how to pick a product or a service, really when it comes down to, there's tons and tons and tons of different niches out there, but really all of them tend to be, or at least all the good ones typically tend to be either a sub-niche, of one of the following niches. Either it's something with, how to, make money. It could be like improving a business. It could be internet marketing. It could be making money online. It could be, stock investing, something around making money. Or it could be something around like health or fitness, like, weight loss, or, getting rid of wrinkles, or, anything involving, health or weight loss. Because at the end of the day, like pretty much, almost everyone, wants to lose at least some weight, or they want to look, a little better, or there's something that they don't find perfect with themselves that they want to fix. Or, the third one is anything that has to do with like essentially a hobby, or, fun, or, activities. And that can be anything from like, if you're a golfer or a tennis player or an athlete of some kind, or, an arts and craft person. People spend money, on their hobbies and what they like doing. And, there's tons and tons and tons of those, and pretty much those are like the main three, but there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of sub-niches under each of those. So, after you do like the keyword research and all that, one thing that you can do is you can use the real-time lead finder. Type in, the keyword or the product that you're considering being an affiliate for, or the topic that you're considering possibly going into, and just see how many people in the past day or the past week are basically talking about that right now. If no one's talking about it, it doesn't mean necessarily that there's no market there, but I find like 9 times out of 10, it means that it's not really a big market, or there's not a lot of people there. There might be a few rare exceptions with that, but if you find a lot of people talking about it, that's a good indicator that it's a decent niche or a decent product. Secondly, you want to also search Google and see who else is selling in that niche. See what's being sold. If nothing else is being sold, a lot of people oftentimes think, well, I want to be the first guy selling and I want zero competition, and that's typically like not the best idea. If no one else is selling in the market, it might be a sign that there's just not a lot of money there. Whereas if there's a lot of sellers, that's a good sign that, hey, this is a decent market, and it doesn't matter if there's lots and lots of competition, because it means there's a big market there. Think of like, for instance, like a weight loss pill. Do you think a guy would say, oh man, I was going to make this cool weight loss pill, but gee, there's another guy that sells a weight loss pill, so I'll just let him have all the business because I want to be the only guy there? I mean, if you're to try to search for all the weight loss pills out there, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like thousands of different brands out there. And yeah, there might be like a handful that sell the majority of the market, but it's a big market, and that's why you have thousands of sellers there. So again, keep that in mind as well. As far as a product or a service, again, you can use the real-time lead finder to do some research, see if people are talking about it, see what people need. But really, if there's a product or a service that people either really want or really need, that's a decent one to look into right there. And don't overthink that. I mean, even if you look around your house right now or wherever you live, you'll probably find a lot of ideas of things that you could be selling, even as just an affiliate. I mean, look at all the gadgets you have, all the toys you have, all the gadgets that you or a neighbor or friend might has. I mean, I get ideas left and right just basically doing that. You can also just basically open up a catalog or a magazine, or go to pretty much any site in any niche, and oftentimes they'll tell you what their best sellers are, which again can give you another idea right there. So we'll move on to the next question. All right, and this is one that we get a lot as well, and it's, what's the easiest way to get started with making money online if I'm completely new? So this is one where the short answer is it depends. There's a lot of different ways to make money online, and each of you are vastly different, so there's different stuff that might basically take your interest. And there's no one really like, hey, this method is by far the easiest and the only way to make money. I mean, if you look at like Sean and myself, we're in a bunch of different markets. We do a bunch of different techniques, and there's a lot that I think are easy. There's a lot that I think are harder. But there's all basically lucrative. But if I was brand new Okay, and if by brand new I mean, you probably either don't have a site or have a site that you haven't done much with, and you don't have have a product or a service. There's a lot of stuff you could do that I think is lucrative. Like I think like creating elite services or products to sell to high-end clients. I think that's an awesome thing to actually do. To like create a service even if you outsource it. I think there's a lot of money in that, but at the same time, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to start with if you're completely brand new. I think you should do it just because it's one of the easiest ways to make, I think $1,000 where, you can take a service that normally might sell for like 100 and turn it into $1,000 a month one. I think with a few sales there, you have a full-time income off of just a few sales. I think that's one of the best ways to basically start. There's lots of ways that WebFire can help with that, which we can get into a little later. But if you're brand new, I'd say probably the easiest thing is to just be an affiliate. I'm not saying you want to be that long-term forever. I think eventually you want to dive into some other stuff too. But being an affiliate of either high-end stuff or stuff that pays reoccurring commissions, I think is a great way to start. And one of the easiest things that you can do is if you don't have a website, you can go to blogger.com, blogger.com. It's owned by Google and it's free. You can make a blog and you'll even be hosted for free. And literally, we actually have training that I've actually done on this where I show you how you can make a blog in literally like a couple minutes time. Like I think every time I made one, it's ranged from like 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. So pretty quickly. And now, even if you have to write the actual blog post and all that, yeah, it might take you a half hour to write a blog post, or let's say even an hour, who cares? Very, very quickly and easily, you can have a nice looking blog. But what you'd want to essentially do is, I think, focus on reviews of affiliate products that sell well. Now, you might ask, well, how do you know if affiliate product sells well? And I say use common sense. If you search the real-time lead finder and no one's talking about it, that might be a sign that it might not sell as you might think. Or if you search online and you see nothing on it, like no other reviews, no one talk about it, no stores really mentioning it, that's also a sign that it might be, all that popular. But if you want to go to the ClickBank, you can check like the Grab store and see what stuff is being sold well. Or if you're to Amazon, you can go to sellers and see what's selling well, or anything that's ranked well in Google for any term probably is at least some sales. So use some common sense with that.
Hey Brian, your audio is breaking up terrible. I think your internet connection must be getting glitchy.
Is it just you or are others saying that?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have said that so far.
Okay. What on?
You're like that's about how you sound. So,
okay.
But Sean is clear.
What? Tom said Brian's audio is perfect.
Okay, so read the other 15 people that have posted now.
No, there's less than that. So
just because Tom is smart enough to understand you.
Try this. At times, if you have two that have the mic on the same time, one will appear topic. Try to mute yours. I'll talk like 10 seconds, and then we'll see if it's still broke there.
Personally, I didn't hear anything. I don't know about anybody else, but and I think we just lost Brian's connection. So anyway, it's a lot clearer now that Brian got knocked offline. I think his internet probably just went out, so that's a problem. Okay, anyway, this is Sean for those of you who just joined us, and as Brian said, one of the easiest ways to make money online to get started along the way is to be an affiliate. So you can approach it any which way you want to. Eventually, you want to create your own products and services and everything else, and work towards that down the road. But starting out, you're going to be much better off just being an affiliate and getting started that way. So that is the case. And it looks like Brian is now attempting to make a comeback.
So yeah, that's real weird. The second that you muted yourself, it appeared to drop my audio. So let's try that once more.
But you sound much better now. So your
Okay.
internet fixed itself. So I told him what you said was brilliant, and you can go from there.
Awesome. So yeah, what Sean said. But yeah, so I'm saying, what the easy is, you can easily find what the best
Yeah,
sellers
you're
are.
breaking up again now.
Try to mute yourself once more, and if I break up again, we'll just switch to a you.
Okay, so I'm going to mute myself again for you there.
All right, guys. If my voice sounds better now, just say a quick yes. If not, just say no. Same problem still. Huh. The only thing I can think of, Sean, we can either switch to you or we can switch to my screen. I wonder if there are issues that are showing your screen but my voice, or what. That is really odd.
Moving on to the next question. All right, so what's the best way to sell services to local or even non-local businesses using WebFire? Well, number one, you guys got to have to decide what it is that you want to. He was saying, people are saying, up to what? He was saying it was up to me what I wanted to do, so I decided to talk. All right, so what's the best way to sell services to local or even non-local businesses using WebFire? Well, there's a lot of ways to do this. First of all, you can use WebFire to provide all kinds of services for other businesses. Same thing you can do for yourself, you can use WebFire for. So whether it's you want to do site analysis and help them rank for keywords, track their keyword results, as you help them move up in the rankings, find which keywords are the best to focus on, which you can do using both the keyword tool as well as the local keyword tools in specific. For that, you can find place to do guest blog posts. You can find leads for them using Twitter and the real-time leads tool. You can manage their social media using the social media tools. You can create videos and promote and post and rank the videos for them using Video Firestorm and the related tools, and it goes on and on and on. So all those things that you could do for yourself, you can do for other businesses, whether they are the local bicycle shop or the local bakery, or it's a global business. And by local, I don't mean that it just has to be in your town. You could be helping a business. Local business is simply one we talk about, like a brick and mortar, one that's selling in a specific local market, like down the street from me, even though you might be helping the guy down the street from me because you found the client, right? You can do this stuff globally, and we have people that are doing that. And so we are able to do any of those things using a WebFire. And how do you offer those to local businesses? Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what you want to offer to a business. The fact you can do everything, you can't really walk into the front door of business and go, hi, I can do everything, what do you need done? Because most of the businesses don't have any idea what they need done. But the very first thing that I would be offering most businesses, because this is very simple, easy, and free for you to do, is to do a website analysis where you're going to analyze their site for them, just do a basic front page analysis for whatever search term it is that they're trying to rank for. Like, I live in Duluth, Georgia, so you could, if I was down at my local bakery or my local sushi shop or whatever, I would, be offering to analyze their site, their business for, like sushi Duluth, Georgia, or Japanese restaurant Duluth, Georgia, whatever it is they're targeting, right? And then you're going to get back results, and you can, show them those results. And once you show them the results, unless they're completely optimized, they're number one for that term and a lot of other terms, and they've got, tons of stuff going on, which is probably not the case, because let's face it, most businesses are not number one on Google in their local market. Then you've got something immediately to talk to them about what you can do to solve the problem they have. Because if you're not number one, you have a problem. If you're not number 1, 2, or 3, you have a huge problem, right? Okay, if you're on page 7, you might as well not, well, actually, if you're on page 2, you might as well not exist in Google, right? I mean, when's the last time you went to page 2 looking for anything, that you were in a hurry for, right? It's not on page 1, forget about it. So you would analyze their site and basically go back to them and go, look, you got problems, I can help you solve them. And then you give them 2 or 3 options of solutions that you could offer them to help, first of all, fix this stuff that's wrong on their main site for whatever keyword they want to rank for, creating more pages, more backlinks, more promotions, more whatever fits the very specific business that you can do. Next up, what's a good way to make sales for my product or service if I'm currently having trouble making sales? Well, the first thing is you've got to decide why it is that you're not making sales. Okay. Now, if you're not making sales because you have no traffic, then the very first thing you need to do is actually get traffic. Okay. Because there's two different things going on. If you're not getting traffic, then that's one issue. But the flip side of that is that if you are getting traffic and not making sales, then there's something wrong with your whatever offer you have. If you have thousands of people that have come to your website and nobody's becoming a lead, nobody's making a purchase, then you clearly have an offer problem, right? I mean, you're not offering something that people have an interest in. Okay. So that's a whole long conversation about fixing your offer and trying to get your offer set up so that it would actually work for the people that are visiting, right? So someone would want to become a lead or want to become a buyer. But presuming that you've got something you want to sell and that has a reasonable conversion rate, then what's the good way to make sales is to actually start promoting it. So the fastest way to promote it is going to be to go and use the real-time lead tools to go find people that have the problem that you can solve, right? So most marketing is solving the problem that people have. That's why they give you money, right? You go to a gift shop, why? Because you need to buy a gift. The problem is you need to buy a gift. The gift shop solves the problem. You go to the chiropractor because something hurts, right? You go to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned or your teeth pulled or your teeth, filled. Okay, you go to a marketing expert because you need more promotion, right? You need more leads, more sales, more traffic, right? Okay, so your solution solves a problem, okay? So what you want to look for are people that have this problem. And those people are online talking about it. They're talking about it in blogs. They're talking about it on forums. They're talking about it on Twitter, okay? They're saying, oh, my back hurts. Oh, I can't sleep at night. Oh, I just had a baby. I'm having a baby. I'm having trouble in pregnancy, or I want to lose weight, or I want to play better golf, or right. And people are using the phraseology when they're in these places that is the normal conversations they have. So your solution might be, I have the magic, G92 7X pill, right? Well, if no one knows to search for the magic G97 2X pill or whatever the heck I just made up, right, then people aren't going to be in forums going, wow, I wish I could find one of those pills, right, because you just invented the pill, right? Okay, nobody knows that you have the pill, okay? But if the pill solves the problem, people will be talking about problems related to whatever it is that you can solve. Those are the people you want to go look for. You want to search for language that they use, and you want to search for other solutions that they might be trying. Like if people are on weight loss diets, then they're going to be talking about the specific diet that they're on and maybe that they're having a problem losing weight or don't like, right? So people on diets, they might be, I'm on the low carb diet, I'm on the Jenny Craig diet, the Weight Watchers diet, the whoever else diet, right? So these people are going to be talking specifically about competitors, competitor companies, competitor products. You can also search for those because where someone's saying, well, this really sucks, I wish that it did this, and your product does that, then you can step right in and again, help people solve those problems. Brian, you can try talking again if there's anything you want to add. Let's see if your internet got better.
Yeah, it looked like my computer audio just went from like red to now fully green. So hopefully.
Well, yeah, you sound much better now.
All right, yeah. So we'll blame CharterNet on that. Yeah, I'd say to essentially echo what you said. Yeah, I would agree with that. That most guys, like the number one thing you want to do is make sure you have an appealing offer to start with. A lot of guys have a crappy offer, and they get upset when they drive basically traffic there and don't make a sale. one of the quick ways around that is to first, put yourself in the shoes of a prospect. Search, or look through your sales page, look through the competitions, and really try to compare them and see, which one seems better, what do you like about the competition that you can maybe mimic, a bit in your sales process, and all that stuff too. And as far as the last question on, how to sell to local or non-local businesses and stuff, one of the easiest ways that I don't think you mentioned yet, Sean, that I think really helps is understand that a lot of these businesses are being bombarded with a lot of offers, just like almost everyone is, but especially a business. And one of the things that you can do is, instead of trying to pitch them right from the get-go, try to do something of value for free to get your foot in the door. Now, with WebFire, let's say you're trying to market to a chiropractor and you want to sell weekly leads to him from Tweet Lead Finder or anything like that of people that are in back pain in his local area. Huge value to a chiropractor. But to get your foot in the door for free, you could say, hey, I'll even offer you the first week of leads for free. No credit card needed or anything like that. And you can make it so you offer this right off the get-go, where you just send them a file with the leads, or you can make it so it's they have to talk to you first, or they have to email back to you first, or whatever you want. But some way to get your foot in the door right there. Or if you're selling basically an SEO service, you can give them a full website analysis, which you can do instantly with WebFire itself. You can send a PDF report for them and say, hey, this is a website analysis I did for you. You can even record your own screen saying, if you want to go the extra mile, and say, hey, here's why a lot of guys in your niche rank, here's why a lot don't. Here's what, you should change, where, it doesn't have to be specific for their site. It could be specific for, let's say, all the dentists in, your city, or all the chiropractors in your city. And that's a great way where it leaves a good impression, because A, they get something for free right then, which no one else does, and B, if they take up a free offer, there's a psychological effect where they feel almost guilty if they don't buy from you, afterwards. Now, some guys won't, and that's perfectly okay. Don't be upset because one or two guys don't buy. If you do this on 10 guys, it takes almost no time. But if even one or two end up buying from you, that could be a substantial amount of money, from hundreds to even thousands a month from just one sale right there. So that's what I think is one of the easiest ways to get local client sales in that. Yeah, it takes a little work, but it's much easier than a lot of people think. And realistically, a lot of people just don't take that time to make an offer for free. They're trying to sell from the get-go. So with that, Sean, we can move on to the next part, and then I have to head up to the dentist in a couple minutes, but I should be able to get this question in right here. Another question we oftentimes get is, what can I do that is hands-free that will make me money still? I get this a lot. There's guys that say, hey, what's the way that I can make money without having to do anything? There's kind of two thoughts in that. One, there's always kind of something you have to basically do. I mean, if everyone could make money without having to do any work at all, everyone would be worth, billions of dollars, and then, everything would cost billions of dollars at the same time. But if you're looking for stuff that's kind of more hands-free, but you still want to make money, there's still a couple options. One option is, again, like I talked about with writing reviews and stuff like that. That's one where it takes a little work initially, but that can be hands-free later. So if you write, let's say, one review a week, and you follow the strategies and the methods that we basically talk about with targeting the keywords and the titles and all that stuff, right there. In fact, we have an entire call on how to rank. We have a call on how to write affiliate reviews and stuff like that, which you can check on. But if you spend a half hour or even an hour a week writing just one a week, okay, you might get some sales that week. You might not get sales that week. You might not get sales the first month. You might get some sales the next month. You don't know. But over time, the reviews that you still wrote will still be there, and a lot of them will still be ranking and stuff. And over time, you can rack up affiliate sales. In fact, I have an affiliate review that I don't think I ever sent any traffic to directly. It was just a review that I threw up on a blog in I think 2007. Yeah, it was around that time. So close to about 10 years ago, I threw up a review, just a simple affiliate review of a product that I didn't make much per se. I mean, I'd make I think that on the low end it was like $7 a month or so I'd make as my cut, but it was a reoccurring cut for an autoresponder. Now all this time later, I mean, I had months where I had some months where I didn't make much, some months where I'd make several $100. Most months it was only just like one or two hundred here and there. But over time, that basically added up. Where last I checked, it was into the lower five-figure amount. Like it was over, I think, like 12 or 15 grand over all that time. Now, keep in mind, it's not like 12 or 15 grand immediately. I think now, I haven't checked it in a long time. I still get checks and stuff, but I think now it's probably, it might be upwards of like probably in the 16 to 20K range. But, that was, mostly all done from one review that I wrote, a long time ago. And again, it wasn't making a fortune every day, but, $100 a month adds up over time. I mean, that's over $1,000 in 1 year, just from a post that took me maybe an hour to basically write and do. And that was, again, 10 years ago when I didn't know nearly as much of the SEO stuff and all the stuff that I do now. And that's something that any one of you could easily do, now. Now, every review that you write won't make you that much, but if you write 10, and just one makes a fraction of that over time, it's a worthwhile investment, and it's hands-free, as well. And in fact, just a side note too, to give you an example, I actually wrote a few reviews, on that product, and of those few, one stuck really well and ranked quite well and got, again, the majority of the traffic. So it's not like all of them had to be a winner, or anything like that. So that's one way to make it hands-free. The second way is if you want to outsource work. So again, we've had guys in the past that have teamed up with salesmen or guys that have paid for assistants or outsourced teams or anything like that to help do the marketing and the work for them to get them to where they need to basically go. So whether you partner with a salesman or guy, or whether you hire one, that's another option that you can have. But to be more hands-free, I think either write affiliate reviews that over time add up but stick to it, or get a salesman or an outsourced team to do the work that you need to do but aren't essentially doing, or try to target, again, high-end products and services where you can outsource as much of the work as possible, but charge a lot of money for those things. Again, we've taught in the past how you can charge $1,000 a month for a service that might only cost you $100 to outsource. So there's a little work involved there, but it's mostly hands-free because it's other people doing the work and all that. So those are the ways that I think are the easiest to make it hands-free. And with that, I have to head out, Sean, but I'm glad that my audio is back to working and all is well right there. So I'll hand it back to you, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right, thank you, Brian. All right, so if you guys have other questions, we're going to answer those, and then we're going to give away cash money, or really PayPal money, to be more specific, but it's almost like cash. You can spend it as fast as we give it to you. So if you want to get in the giveaway, you need to go to our Facebook group, and Sharon's posted up there in the Facebook group, and just get your feedback on the webinar. So those of you that give us feedback on the webinar, we'll put you in the drawing and count you up and randomly pick a winner in that drawing in just a minute, or in about 5 or 10 minutes here, but as soon as I answer some questions. But if you've got a question, post it up inside of the question box on the GoToWebinar widget, and I'll do my best to give you an answer if it's actually possible for me to give you an answer. Sometimes it even eludes me, but we'll see what we can do to get your questions answered along the way. All right. Let's see where we are. We got some of these things answered already. So Francis asked, if you see a forum on a special niche and you find members that are disappointed with the benefits of a specific product. So like, let's say, they tried Jenny Craig for weight loss and it didn't work. How would you answer them? Would you private message people, or would you just answer right out on the forum? Well, you can private message people, but for the most part, you can answer right out in the forum itself. Hey, sorry to hear you had a problem. And then you kind of want to be responsive to it in some way that you can help them. So it might be, we've been able to help other people that had a similar problem. For example, we did this and got this kind of result. If you want more information, we've got a special report here, or we've got a video on YouTube that you can watch, or people found, this XYZ thing very helpful, and you point them in the direction you want them to go. So the person that posted see it, other people in the thread see it, people that find that thread in the forum see it, future people in the search engines can see that result as well. Let's see. Okay, great. Another question, how much would a website analysis be worth as a freebie? Well, not to be funny, if it's a freebie, it's free. But if you were charging for it, you could charge as much as $495 just for a website analysis. People, if you search online, and you will find people offering that service for that much money and more. So it has a lot of value, because remember, you think, oh, I can do this for free inside of WebFire because I know how to do it and I know how to interpret the results. The guy that owns the bicycle shop, this is truly like, a foreign world to him. You might as well be speaking Greek as far as he's concerned, right? He doesn't know anything about it, what it means, how it works. Even if you told him what the problem is, he doesn't know how to fix it. So this has value to him, but it is one of those things where, like anything that's a free analysis, it's like going to a lawyer and getting a free analysis of your case, right? That doesn't solve your problem. That just gives you feedback on the problem that you have. If you want to solve the problem, you've got to hire the lawyer to solve the problem, right? In this case, if they want to solve the ranking and traffic problem, they've got to hire you to do that, and then you get to be able to charge whatever you'd like to for that. Martin, yeah, we'll think about it. Martin was asking about AdSense, if we do a webinar on AdSense. Think about that. It is a topic that people probably would like some more information on, but we'll see if enough people have an interest that that's worth doing that. Nigel asked, would we put reviews like Brian was talking about on a standalone site or on a page on a site? So Nigel, as long as whatever your niche is, the products that you're reviewing all fit within that niche. So if it's online marketing, or it's technology, or it's fitness and weight loss, those kind of things, and you could put the reviews up on the same website, just on different pages, because we always want to optimize multiple pages on a specific site, right? So let's say you're reviewing lots of weight loss products and weight loss supplements and weight loss and fitness regimens and those kind of things, then you could put them all up on the same website, because they're all related. Otherwise, you don't want to put up, okay, so here's the best bicycle to ride across country, and here's the best yoga mat, and here's the best TV, and here's the best new mobile phone, right? Because then Google has trouble with your site. They're like, I don't know what you're doing here, right? You're all over the place. They like you to be consistent within a niche, because then they know your site is related to that niche. Hang on. How much time does the schema script take to appear in Google? Once you post it, you can notify Google, use the site submission tool to say that it's there. So that, or not that it's there, but that your page is updated, so Google will read it, in which case it should appear in the results very quickly. Amelia asks, do you write the review with a personal name or a company name or a website name if you want the review to be anonymous? Well, you can write it in any name you want to make it. You can have it in a pen name. You can have it, which a lot of people do. They don't want to write in their own name. So if you want to have a review in a pen name, you can do that. That's absolutely fine. Gene, I'm not sure what you mean by address the IRS and internet marketing, because I don't know how those are related. So if you can be more specific, I can try to answer that. Okay, you're welcome. Martin, the best way to rank without backlinks is going to be to have keywords that are really, 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 really non-competitive. So you'd have to find keywords that where the competition has hardly any backlinks in order to rank well without backlinks at all. Alvin, yeah, there's a lot of examples of ranking sites and things with WebFire inside of all the training products. Okay, so good question, Cynthia. So Cynthia asked this question. She needs to get approved by Adsense to monetize her blog with advertising. And they turned down her application. Now, when you go to use Adsense, so just so everybody knows what Adsense is. Adsense is a program that Google has where they'll show ads on your website, and you get paid either based upon them showing the ads, you know, on a CPM basis, cost per thousand, or you get paid on the basis of people clicking on the ads. Okay, so it all depends, and you can control how you set it up and everything else, and we're not getting into all that right now. But in order to get approved, Google requires that you have number one, acceptable content on your website, which is going to mean unique content and good quality content. They're going to want to see anywhere from at least 10 to 20 articles. And the other thing that they're going to want to see is that you've got other things that they require. And if you do a quick Google search, you'll probably find somebody's got this listed out, like, you know, how to get approved by Google AdSense. But you're going to need, off the top of my head, things like a terms of use document linked off every page on your website, your privacy policy linked, contact information so that visitors to your site can contact you. You know, things that Google was going to say that they want to see on, you know, websites that are, you know, good citizens of the internet and responsible, and people can contact them and that kind of stuff. They're also going to not want to see anything that promotes things that are against their rules. So if you have anything on there that is potentially anything that's adult content related, which doesn't necessarily mean pornography, but could just be racy ads or images, if you have things that would promote, or could be misinterpreted even to promote, you know, hate speech, or things that are racism or divisive, or you know, going to stir people up, or things related to guns, all that kind of stuff. Any of those kind of things can cause you to get denied by Google. Now, you can update your site and just go apply again, and they'll review your site. And of course, you know, and the fact that they might have told you in this case that you have insufficient content could have been, it could be they didn't like the quality of what you had, or they didn't think you had enough of it, or they didn't have, it's hard to tell what that really means, because all these big companies, Google and Facebook, yada yada, you know, they've got people that are sitting there bored out of their minds that are going through these things, and they're copy and pasting or hitting a button to post standard answers. Because we ask questions all the time at places like Google, Facebook, etc., and we usually get like really insufficient answers that aren't helpful or responsive to what we want to do. So Francis is asking, how do you price your service without knowing how much traffic or new customers your prospect business might get? So that's a good question. Well, first of all, you want to only deal with a business in the end that you think, you know, first of all, you can help, but secondly, that, you know, that they could benefit from the traffic. So if you go to different businesses are going to have a different value for a new customer, right? If you go to a dentist and he gets a new customer, and that guy, you know, on average spends $300 a year, and he's going to stay with the guy for 10 years, and 1 year he's going to need, 2 crowns, and that's another $2,000, and the guy's worth $5,000. Well, you get a new customer for the dentist, and that's worth a lot of money, right? Whereas if you get a new customer for, takeout restaurant where the average ticket price is $10, that's a big difference too, right? I mean, so you've got to be trying to focus on businesses that would have more, for which you can provide more value because their customers are worth more money. Then doesn't mean you need to go looking for, oh, I'm only going to deal with, the biggest businesses in town that can afford to pay the most money, because that's where everybody targets. Usually in a more of a mid-range is a better target from that standpoint. But, you need to charge what your service is worth, okay? And other than looking ahead of time at how things are ranked, it's really hard to guarantee a specific result, because if I go to the dentist at the top of the hill near where I live, and I say to him, hey, listen, I can transform your business. I can get you twice as many clients as you have now. That's a way different proposition than that I can get you ranked, at the top of the front page of Google for, Dentist Duluth or Cosmetic Dentist Duluth or some other achievable objective, okay? And you also, when you're doing this, you can't go to the business owner and say, I'm going to go do this and accomplish this and make your phone ring and get you all these clients, because unless they have a client acquisition program and a follow-up system in place, just because you make their phone ring or a person visit their website doesn't mean they're necessarily going to convert those people into customers. So what you want to do is simply offer them an objective that you can hit. Like, I can go rank your website for this term or multiple terms, or we can generate more interest, more credibility. We can manage your social media. We can be posting every day. We can generate, we can build up your following on Facebook and Twitter. Things that you can do for the business where you can just go back and say, hey, look, here's what we did for you, right? Now, naturally there's going to be an increase in traffic and customers and people visiting their website and their social visibility. But if you're, especially if you're new at this, to go into a business and tell them, oh, listen, we're going to get you 100 new customers a month, or something that's measurable like that, then you're going to need a lot more experience to be able to do this than what I'm guessing you have right now along the way. All right. Okay, so Gene asks, how do we keep the records with so many sources of funds and some are less than $600 and not reported to the IRS? Well, Gene, you don't need to report the source of all your funds to the IRS. What you need to report is your gross income in terms of your income. So if you're taking all the money you receive and you're putting it all into the same bank account, okay, or you're receiving it in PayPal and tracking it both in the PayPal account and in your bank account, so there's two places where money comes in, and you add up all the money that comes in and report that to the IRS, that's what you have to report. And of course, you're going to report your expenses and all that other stuff. But in terms of reporting, you don't have to keep track of, well, I got a $7 payment here on January 16th, and it came from Jimmy over in Sheboygan. You don't have to keep track of any of that, okay? Otherwise, you can imagine what the tax return would look like for a billion-dollar company, right? I mean, it would be like literally thousands and thousands of entries in line items for every single thing. You just have to report, look, I got $1 million that came in from all these sources, and I've got, $472,000 in expenses, and I've got a net profit of $528,000, and here's my massive tax check. Okay, so you don't have to keep track of all of that. The fact that that companies who pay you more than $600 on an annual basis are going to send a notice to the IRS or file it electronically that they sent you $600, that doesn't matter, because you've deposited all your money and accounted for it. When the IRS adds up all those notices they got, that number is going to be less than the amount you reported, so they're going to be very, very happy. Okay, where people get into trouble is they're like, oh, I'm going to cash this check here, I'm going to cash this $300 check and not tell anybody, and they cheat. Now, if you go cheat and then the IRS does the math and you told them that you grossed $1 million and they've got reports that say you grossed $1.2 million, they're going to want to know what you did with the other $200,000. Okay, and then you're going to have a problem because you misreported income, you created you committed tax fraud. That's a whole other can of worms that we're not in the business to handle. Okay. Hang on, I'm trying to read this. I mentioned about your offer. Martin, I'm not sure what you mean by we already mentioned the offer of what we want to do. So tell me what you're looking for on a topic, because I think there probably is a webinar on what you're looking for, I would guess. Hey, Randolph, send an email to support@WebFire, and somebody will get right back to you on that. That's easy. We'll get that handled for you. No problem. And you can always, anytime you got a question on any of our stuff, just hit our support desk, that central support desk, and we're there. And I think that's all the questions. So if you got another question, pop it in there. If you have not posted yet, oh, Martin, yeah, there's going to be training in there on how to create an offer. Yes, because we will have talked about that. Let's ask, do I need WordPress to use WebFire? No, you don't even need a website to use WebFire. You certainly don't need WordPress. You could use if you've got a site, you can have it be a regular HTML site. You can have a WordPress site. You can have a Blogger blog. And any of those you can use all the WebFire tools for. If you have a site built in a site builder, you can use all of the WebFire tools except for any of our plugins that would automate updating content on a page or those kind of things, simply because we can't access non-regular website builder type software. But Blogger, WordPress, regular HTML sites, all that kind of stuff we can do. But you can still promote, if you have a Weebly or a Wix site, you could still promote those, analyze them. You could still do all kinds of stuff, but we can't access that remotely to be able to do that. So let's go to Facebook, and my screen's going to probably disappear in 1 second, but hang on. Let me do that. Let's switch over to Chrome, and if I get the question box out of the way, I can probably see what we're doing. There's my boy, Bonin Bao, who's a really interesting guy to follow. There's a Cleveland Hustles show that's coming up on CNBC tonight. He's very involved in that. Met him a couple weeks ago at a mastermind event. What the heck am I looking for, Sharon? I'm looking for the Facebook page, the WebFire page, right? Must be this one here. All right, there we go. Look at those good-looking guys. I don't mean me. I mean Brian and those other guys down here in the member section. Okay. So all right. So hopefully you posted up, answered, liked. We got 30 comments, a bunch of likes. We got some people down below. We got 1, 2. Let me count how many people. 3. Okay. So we got 3 and 30 is 33, 34 with one more comment. Okay. Let's go to. I think it's random number generator. Well, forget about that because all I want is a random number generator. There we go. Right, random.org. Let's go back here. We're gonna double check the page. 32 comments. Anybody else got a comment? Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Refresh the page. We had what? 3. Down below, 32 there, 35. Let's pick a number from 1 to 35 and see what we get. Who's going to be the big winner today of $100? We're going to be away. Number 30. That's just good. I can count backwards. So number 30 is going to be, let's look at all these comments. You have 28 more comments. We got all the comments here. And there was 30, so 30. There was 32, 32, 31, 30. Jason McGill says, wish I could make it to Atlanta. Thanks for all the value you guys give each week. And Jason picked up $100. So, Jason, if you will pop us your PayPal email address, we will get you some PayPal money very, very quickly in the next little bit. Just either send us a private message on Facebook or post it up in the list, and we'll be there. And then we'll be able to see it. So somebody just asked why their name's not on the list. I don't know. If you posted a comment here, then it would be somewhere on this page because it's the only place it could be. All right, guys. So appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully you guys continue to get value out of this. Next week we've got some great new training for you that Brian was talking about earlier. We'll have that for you next Wednesday. Those of you that are going to come visit us here in the ATL, which I say that like I live here because I do. We will see you guys bright and early on on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Just arrive a few minutes before 9, please, and get settled in. We'll start right at 9 o'clock. And we got a lot of great info for you. And we will see you guys live and in person. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Keep taking action, and you'll continue to get awesome results. And Sharon, I just saw that email address pop into the GoToWebinar chat box, so it's there for Jason. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great week.